If you add up all the pro-Remain parties, they did gain a bigger percentage, 35.8% versus the Brexit Party, 31.6%.
It'd be quite wrong for the media and others to run away and saying, oh, this is the people saying we've got to get on with Brexit.
And I know Nigel Farage is grabbing an awful lot of headlines today, but actually I think deep in his heart he's not going to think this is that great.
There is greater support for staying in the EU now than there was in 2016.
I think we're now demonstrating that there's a majority of people in the country who don't want to leave the European Union now.
I'm sorry.
So actually pro-Remain parties altogether did win a bigger percentage?
This is absolute tosh. If you want to look at it that way, well, it's not a fact, all right? Add up the Brexit Party vote. Add up the UKIP vote.
31.6%.
Let me finish. Add up the UKIP vote. Add to that the Conservative vote, who still are a party that says we're going to leave, and you will find that Leave beat Remain. In fact, what you find overall is that right now the country is 52-48 in favour of leaving. We're supposed to be a democracy. We were promised this would be implemented.
Parties that are unequivocally pro-Remain, pro-People's Vote, anti-Brexit have done very, very well.
It's people actually want to halt to Brexit. They want to have a chance to think again. They want a final say.
Support for this, as much as many in this House are trying to ignore it, is growing.
Thought of another referendum. Is there any sense that with all this delay going on, that there's more support for that?
Short answer is no.
All of the criticisms that you've just levelled at the leadership of the Labour Party, I would level at the People's Vote campaign. I would have a lot more time and respect for this campaign if you were just honest and upfront and said, we want to stop Brexit. And actually, it is in the gift of Parliament to do that, and you could lobby MPs to do that. What you can't do is go back to people in towns like mine who were asked in good faith, do you want to be in the EU or not? And they said, no, you don't. And they still don't, and say to them, well, we're now going to give you a second go at this that you didn't ask for and you don't want, and we're going to give you two options on the ballot paper which you consider to be different versions of Remain, which you've already rejected. We are breaking our democracy.
For the most part, the weight of the evidence is that there hasn't been an increase in support, and that the continuing cycle of the impasse at Westminster has not encouraged voters to think, oh, hang on, give it back to us.
What is complicated about the 2017 manifesto, which said that Labour respects the result of the referendum, and then it made clear, in a way that doesn't please all Leave voters, just as respecting the result of the referendum doesn't please all Remain voters, that we would seek a close economic relationship with the EU after we leave, and we would seek to protect jobs and put that first over other considerations like immigration. Now, these are choices that were made, and they're not always palatable choices. I have to go home. I'm going home later tonight to do door knocking in the local elections, and I have to explain this to people on the doorstep, that nobody is going to get everything that they want. Most of the public are pragmatic and they're prepared to compromise, and what they see when they see you and some of your colleagues in the People's Vote campaign is just a group of people who are not prepared to listen, not prepared to compromise.
I don't agree with that, though.
That's why we're stuck.
Yeah, but
it's also true, and again, that was very, very clearly demonstrated the weekend. If you ask people whether there should be a public vote, and you don't say that Remain will be on the ballot paper, you tend to get people in favour. If you ask people whether there should be another referendum and make it clear that Remain would be an option on the ballot paper, you tend to get more people against. So the truth is, people's answers to poll questions on this subject simply depend primarily on how you ask the question. But above all, at the end of the day, the argument for a people's vote is an argument that many, around two-thirds of Remain voters, are willing to buy into, but Leave voters remain unpersuaded.
We're going to win. We're going to keep winning. We're going to win at military. We're going to win at trade. We're going to win at everything we do. We're going to win, win, win. You people, you're going to be sick and tired of winning. We can't take it anymore. You're winning too much. And I'm going to say, I don't give a damn. We're going to keep winning. We will win, and we will win, and we will win.
And I'm really tired of all these Remainers constantly moaning about every single election which they lose.